So we're going to do a little video on competition prep. So competition prep is super important. I think a lot of people slack on their prep, to be honest. And maybe that's just me taking this hobby sport far too seriously. Maybe I'm wrong for that. I've sunk a ton of money and time and energy into the sport. It doesn't pay you back, at least not financially. So maybe people are smarter than me for not taking it so seriously, but I take it really seriously. And if you're going to be one of those guys who is wanting to have the best prep possible, I suggest eating fairly clean. Don't eat a lot of garbage food. Try to make sure as much food as possible is whole food. Try to make sure you're doing everything you can to get a good sleep every night. You want at least 6 hours, preferably 8. If you're a male anyway, if you're a female, probably more, most likely more. Take your vitamins, get your magnesium in so you can sleep better at night. Get your vitamin D and vitamin C in so you can stave off, diseases, and so you can have more energy throughout the day. Really dedicate to having good, hard, just give it your all in all your training sessions. Make sure that you're looking after your body. Make sure you're getting enough rest. Make sure your active recovery is on point. Do your stretching, do your mobility, get massage therapy. If you're really, really serious about winning and being the best, then you're going to want to do all these things. Make sure your body's working in top form. Don't just train as hard as you can. Recover as hard as you can. Your active recovery, most people slack on that so much. You should be recovering as hard as you train, if not harder. Like, there's so many guys who are like, oh man, I had one good training session this week. The rest of them were garbage because I was so sore, so tight, couldn't do this, that, and the other thing. So maybe you're pushing a little too hard in training on that one session. Maybe you're not recovering properly. Maybe there's a lot more you can be doing for recovery. I take it really seriously. I'm eating a lot of really good food. I'm resting. I'm making sure that my body is fresh. I'm making sure my employer realizes I don't want to work late during my prep right now. I'm only going to put in an 8-hour shift today because I absolutely have to be home in time to eat and then go into the gym and then recover and do my mobility routine in the evening and go to sleep at a decent time and be up at a decent time, So discipline is key for these things. You really want to be on top of that. If you can be consistent in this way, you're going to have an amazing prep. Almost every single time you're going to have an amazing prep because you're going to be recovered, you're going to feel strong, you're going to be well fueled, you're going to be well hydrated. That's another thing. Don't ever skip out on your hydration, man. That's how you get, torn muscles, torn ligaments, torn tendons. Don't do that. So make sure you're up on that. Something else too is I try to go off of using pre-workout or energy drinks when I'm not in prep for a show. And then during prep for a show, I start introducing, as little caffeine as I can get away with, but sometimes it's, a whole scoop of pre-workout, which is a lot. Because you don't want to burn your system out. That's something else, is you want to be in close contact with whoever's coaching you and say, hey, it's been a week, I'm feeling really down, we need to deload. There's been a couple shows where I pushed my prep way too hard and I wasn't recovering well enough. And I had to deload 2 or 3 weeks out from a show. I had to take 4 days, rest, recover, lift super light, let my system recover, and then jump back into my peak. So, and that's something else. Having an intelligent coach that can help you peak for a show is really important. And a coach that knows when you're starting to lag. You as the athlete, that is your job, is to say, hey, I need to self-regulate, or I need to, talk to my coach, make sure he knows I'm really struggling, I'm failing lifts or whatever. If it's getting to that point, you better contact your coach, because having a good prep is so important. But yeah, finishing your programs, making sure you're on a good program, making sure you have a good coach, because some people don't know what they're doing. So make sure that you are being as smart about everything as you can. Make sure you're looking after yourself as well as you can. Try to minimize stress in your personal life. The last couple of weeks of prep, especially for something like Nationals or Worlds or Arnold's, I'm pretty quiet. A lot of my friends say that. They're like, holy smokes, we haven't heard from you in a week or two. Are you good? I'm like, yeah, we're dialing it in. This is the last couple of weeks of prep. I got to leave the world alone because holy smokes, most things are really stressful. Our lives in the modern Western society is very stressful. The more you can disassociate from that and just do what you have to do to get by, if you have close friends, obviously stay in contact with them, or at least let them know that you need to be left alone. Family, same thing. Don't ignore your wife. Don't ignore your kids. The sport ain't worth it. but make sure that you're doing everything you can within reasonable bounds to keep your stress levels low, keep your heart rate low. That's something else too, is your nervous system can only take so much. I try to stay as calm as I can in day-to-day life, and I do a pretty dang good job of it, using breathing exercises, making sure that nothing's stressing you out too much. Don't get angry. Even in my training, I'm trying as hard as I can to stay calm in training 99% of the time. I only really flip that switch when I really have to, and that's usually, again, the last couple weeks of prep. So yeah, that's when it's okay to be a little bit nutty, but just make sure you're not ruining relationships, ruining your family life over it. I'll tell you right now, it's really not worth it, man. Been there, done that. So do what you can to make sure you have the best prep. Be smart. Don't cut corners. Look after yourself. At the end of the day, go out there and smash it. Be great. Well, you guys have a great day. Stay hydrated. Stay healthy. Take care, everybody.